All right, let's get our heads in the.
Let's get our heads in the game. Gotta get your head in the game. Gotta get your head in the game.
That's the bit.
That's the bit. I don't know. There's nothing else. It's got to be that, right? Yeah. So,
what team? Late to the movies.
Oh, there you go. That's a cute one.
What a terrible cheer. Anyway,
LTM.
LTM.
Double TM. Yeah. Well, as you guys know, I don't know how to start the podcast yet. It'll either be what we just did or something along the lines of welcome to Late to the Movies. My name's Ben Holt, and this is a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Every week we'll pick a movie that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have got our heads in the game by now. This week, the movie kicking off Back to School Month. It's High School Musical. And I will say that I am the person who hasn't seen it before. Unlike my guest this week, left to right across your podcast aisle, we got Kyle.
Hey.
We got Lyndsey.
What's up? Let's pop to the top.
You only got like 20 minutes on the last episode for the Quarry, so I figured you earned a full episode.
Ah, sweet.
Like I said, this is going to be a new month, Back to School Month. All movies about high school. I think specifically they're all about high school. So, or at least take place in high school. Later this month, we'll also cover Heathers, Mean Girls, and Breakfast Club. So
Ooh.
There you go.
I'm excited for the Mean Girls podcast.
Yeah, and I found I had to. I'm not going to say that I cheated, but I figured out a loophole because everyone I know has seen Mean Girls, so we couldn't do it for the podcast. But there's a loophole that when that episode comes out, you'll hear about it.
The anticipation is killing me.
So this is actually. It's a couple of firsts for us. It'll be the first musical that we're talking about. It'll be the first Disney Channel original movie that we're talking about.
Decom.
And neither of which I would have predicted that this would be the first one we do for either of those categories. But here we are. Before we get into the movie, though, normally I leave this open-ended, but forgive me because I want to talk about something specific that we've all watched fairly recently. At your urging,
it's Big Little Lies.
Not quite. At y'all's urging, I recently watched Pretty Little Liars Original Sin on HBO Max. I guess, mini-series. I don't think they're doing a season 2.
I think there's going to be a season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't you say, I mean, you're the one who's like the Pretty Little Liars fan. Didn't they say that they had a season 2?
Yeah, they're looking into doing a season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I feel like they pretty much wrapped it up, but whatever.
I don't know how they would.
That's how you feel in the original series too. It's like, oh, this is wrapped up.
Yeah,
it's not.
No, I guess not.
It goes on for 7 or 8 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we've seen it before you, and we recommended it to you. So what do you think of it? What was your like initial thought for like episodes 1 through probably like we'll say 8 or 9?
Oh, why?
Because I feel like you can't talk about the last episode. People are going to watch it.
Okay. Well, we won't talk about it specifically. But
Spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about specifics.
My feelings overall. Well, here's the thing. If you're listening to this podcast, there's a good chance you probably would find something to be fond of in the show because it takes place in a world where everyone has memorized film Twitter, apparently, and are constantly talking about movies that are not mainstream, but are constantly talked about on film Twitter. Like, there's someone who says like one of their favorite like going out clubbing movies is Last Days of Disco, which is you've never heard of that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that was a weird scene. I was like, I've never heard of any of these movies.
Yeah. It's like, there's one character who literally just talks in film Twitter, but all the other characters also know all these like really obscure to most people movies. So I thought that was funny. So I guess what I would say is that I felt self-conscious because this character, every conversation she's in, she brings back to movie references and quotes. And I thought, and I felt very much like, oh, I hope I don't do that. But outside of my own self-consciousness, yeah, I liked it. It was fun. Has a lot of fun references. Character.
That was probably my favorite character because of that. Like, I just liked that trait.
Yeah.
Because
she dresses like Fran Lebowitz the whole time.
Yeah, like everybody gets like their own interest in life, and like they associate everything with that interest. Like that's just how you live as a human. So like to see like her be so passionate about movies, it reminded me of you. So I liked her as a character. I thought she was cool.
Okay.
My favorite character was the twins.
Yeah.
Because of the whole twin theory. We had talked about it. Lyndsey and I had talked about it before.
Yeah.
It was brought up in the show that, you know, the live twin could really be the dead twin. I warned you. I said I was going to spoil some stuff. But that happens pretty early on.
Yeah,
So,
like that happened, and
that might be
immediately we
nice.
both looked at each other and we were like, "That's not Karen,"
Yeah,
or "That's
it's-
not Kelly."
I thought it was a cool throwback because in the original series, there's a lot to do with twins.
Oh, that's fun.
Like there's a lot of twins in the original series that you don't know are twins, and
So that's like a nod to that.
yeah, that's what I thought too. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's a
Yeah.
nod to the twins, and there's probably something more to this. But I think when we both finished, we were like, no, that's probably the twin who she says she is.
See, I still don't think so, though. And I think that could be like a left untied kind of thing in the second season. But that's really the only place I see the second season going unless they bring in a whole new A.
Well, we do know, and again, spoilers, the killer is on the loose at the end of the series.
Yeah.
At the end so they could
That's
just bring him
something that
back.
they were
But-
constantly shocked by that I thought was kind of weird. That I realize why they keep having to say like, "Oh, A's back," but the whole thing takes place over the course of the beginning of a school year to New Year's, right?
Mhm.
And every other episode, they're like shocked to find that A's back, and it's like. You saw him 2 weeks ago. Why did you think he was gone?
He's gone
and it
now,
happens like 5 or 6 times throughout the course of the miniseries, where the characters are like, "Well, that's over," and then like the next episode they'll be like, "A's back." It's
Yeah,
like, he's not
I do
back.
think that's weird. He just
You
never
just haven't
left.
seen him for 10 days. I don't know why you thought he was gone. But yeah, so it's one thing that I was worried about at the beginning is like, is this just going to disappear into only being just so referential to other stuff, specifically Halloween being the big one? There's a couple shots that are literally just from Halloween and that happened pretty early on. Have you guys seen Halloween?
I don't know if I've seen the original Halloween.
Yeah.
But I have seen a Halloween.
So there's like a famous shot that I think in the first episode is a 1-for-1 where Lori, Jamie Lee Curtis, drops off a key at a house and you see her walk up to the door from the inside of the house. And then as she's walking away, Michael Myers like walks into frame and is looking out at her. And it's
yeah.
literally just a shot for shot
Oh,
remake.
that's awesome.
In episode 1 of this, which was cool. But yeah, there's stuff like that. But it ended up like, I don't know, it was fun.
It was
It
fun.
has its
Yeah. And then
it has
if
its moments.
if
It
you're a
tries
fan,
to get into some stuff.
and if you're a fan of the original series, there's a nod to the original right at the end. What I did like is that this had a clear story from the beginning. When they
Yeah.
started shooting this, they knew who A was going to be.
Yeah.
And
I think it would have been interesting if they didn't. I
well,
guess.
it feels
well,
that
that's
way.
how the
first
original series
kind
is
of
done.
feels that way when it ends.
Oh, okay. I
Like
understand what you mean
Lucy
then.
Like
Hale thought
last-
she was A for like the first 5 seasons,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
like
so there's
was
interviews
not.
of all
I
the girls.
see
Like,
what
I think
you're
it was
saying.
me,
Then.
and
I see what you're
So
saying.
like even like those 5 girls who were in the original series did not know who was A.
who was gonna be
Oh, that's
in the
fun.
end. But it was still good, and the reveal was still good.
Mhm.
But it just wasn't what people expected. So there was a lot of I was big into the Pretty Little Liars Reddit scene.
Yeah.
And people were not happy at first, but that's blown over and people are okay with the ending now.
That's good.
So I think if I went back and watched it, which I haven't done,
We started to like forever.
we
time
started
ago.
to, but we didn't finish it. But I think I would be okay with it because I would be able to pick up on the things. But there were just so many hints towards everyone being A
yeah.
that you didn't really know where it was going.
I just remember getting so mad in the last season of the original series that who I thought was A, and I wasn't like as big on the Reddit thing because I watched it way later when it was on Netflix.
And I've never seen it for what it's worth.
Yeah. So I was like, this person is dead set A. And then as soon as that last season came out and it was like starting to kind of steer somewhere else, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And I think because I'm so annoyingly like ignorant, persistent with like, nope, it's this person. If it's wrong, then the show's wrong, not me. So
And that's how
I was
Reddit
just
was.
so mad.
No, that's
So I actually never finished the last season because I was like, no, I know I'm right and y'all wrong. So
But yeah, as someone who had never watched any other things from the Pretty Little Liars verse, I guess.
It's a verse now, yeah.
oh my God, could you imagine
Pretty
going to
good.
visit like that amusement park?
I've also never watched Riverdale, and I was surprised to hear that Riverdale was also a nearby town.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I don't know if they're tied together.
I don't
they are now because I Googled it, and the guy who was the showrunner for this was like, I didn't think they'd let me do that, but they did. So
All right, cool. Yeah.
Huh.
I mentioned Halloween's a big influence, obviously Carrie too, because
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
they make it very clear.
Clear.
that
There
they're
was a
drop some
lot
light
of
on it.
too. There was like a lot of like little Scream hints and nods. I felt like with like I don't know if it's just like people's
sure.
visions when filming. Like for me, like the whole Scream thing is like you see the guy or like you hear the music and you see the guy running around the house and then he shuts a door and you think Scream's going to be right behind that door and there's nothing there. So like there was a lot of hints like that with A where you were like, oh my gosh, A's going to be there. I'm going to jump and there was nothing.
Yeah,
or like vice versa. And it really did like make you jump for a quick second. You're like, oh snap, there he is.
I felt like they were really digging into like the opening of Scream 2, which is at the movie premiere of Stab. And it seemed like when they were doing like the movie showing and Karen's like staggering away to the bed. I'm like, it's like the opening
of the screen.
It's like the opening of Scream 2. Good stuff. But yeah, no, I liked it overall. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, we're here to talk about much lighter things. Come on, get your head in the game.
Yeah, we gotta get our heads in the game. That's also like such a weird thing to chant at your friend.
Anyway, your heart is in the song. I get it. Wise Words by Troy Bolton.
Makes me feel so right.
We'll get into it.
Should I do it?
Go for it.
So, dude, should I do the 1 minute plot summary?
I think you should.
Okay.
I think you should. Do you want me to time?
I think you have to.
I got
because
time.
you always make me do it when I haven't seen it. So now
Yeah,
it's your
okay.
turn.
I'll do it. So I'm marking time now. Do you like Grease? It's Grease. How long that take?
Way too long.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we got Zac Efron and I'm the Danny Zuko character. Sorry, Troy, whatever his name is. And he meets it's not Santa Gabriella. It's over winter break instead of summer break, and then he goes back and like tells his friends about it. They're forced to do karaoke, which isn't a thing I think you can do. If you don't know the song, whatever. And then they go back to school, and she's the new girl at school. And he wasn't expecting to see her again because, again, it's Grease. And but she's there. But unlike Grease, he doesn't have to change anything about himself. He gets the girl at the end anyway.
He had to change. He had to become a singer.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I ran out of time. But I'll also mention, because fucking, who cares?
You make up the rules.
I make up the rules. So he's a basketball star who never takes a shot more than 8 feet away from the basket. He's pretty short, but he exclusively practices post moves for some reason. So he's like a big basketball star whose father gets mad when he tries to start singing. But anyway, the school year is, I guess, halfway through because it was just winter break. So they got like the big championship is coming up for basketball. So he doesn't want to lose sight of that. His friends are mad when he starts doing other stuff. It's really Zac Efron focused for like the first half of the movie. There's not a lot for Vanessa Hudgens to do. And then the drama club, they just sort of fall into doing because they're, turns out they're good at singing. There's Ashley Tisdale's there, and she's like kind of being like a mean girl, sort of, but it's a Disney Channel
energy.
Yeah, it's a Disney Channel original movie, so it's not like that extreme.
It's like decom bad bitch.
Right, yeah. And she has a gay best friend who's also her brother or something.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Put a note down.
Okay, cool. He's basically
We're
like
gonna
a
come
mini,
back
I
to
don't know if you're familiar with the comedian John Early, but he's basically, they look pretty similar too, and that's whatever. So yeah, they're, God, what else happens? The basketball game's coming up, but also the math decathlon. So their
important part.
Their friends tell them to stop doing the things they want to do. They literally tell a black guy to shut up and dribble. They tell a white girl not to dance. No one wants to see that shit. Then there's a stoner that they tell shouldn't play the cello.
I like how they portray like the skateboard.
Yeah, those are the three things they could think of.
They're like, what's the most stereotypical things that we can do without getting in trouble?
Then Zac Efron gets mad at his friends for like ruining what he has with Vanessa Hudgens and the singing, so he goes to his private rooftop garden that he has at school.
It's the science clubs.
I guess they don't use it. And his friends, without anything else happening, decide that they were wrong, and they go and apologize. Then Sharpay moves the callbacks.
Sharpay says, "Fuck you,"
to the same time as the other stuff, so they have to like come up with this plan. Whatever. They get the parts. Apparently, this musical only has 2 parts because Sharpay ends up as an understudy. Why,
yeah,
why aren't there just more characters?
What musicals actually have a character called Minnie and Arnold? That's what we need to Google
I
in a
don't
little
think there
bit.
is
All
one.
right, keep going. I'm
Yeah, I don't think it's real.
No, she made it
no,
up.
I'm gonna Google it.
She wrote it.
She wrote
Kelsey
it.
wrote it.
Yeah, she
She's-
wrote it.
yeah,
she's
but I
the
feel like
play
somebody had
maker.
to put a name on this. No.
Okay.
I'm Googling it.
You
BRB.
could do that. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. I was surprised at not having seen this before that there is not a musical in this.
Yeah, you don't get to see the musical.
It's like a musical about high school, about people auditioning for a musical, but you never see the
You
musical.
never see the musical.
And it got to be about 20 minutes from the end, and I'm like, well, they haven't finished the auditions yet, so I guess there's no musical in this.
I didn't think about that. Maybe I should have gave you a warning there. Like, hey, by the way, there's no
It seems
musical here.
weird. The whole thing obviously is a musical. Yeah. Also, so it's just like this is what I usually ask people who haven't seen before. So other stuff that surprised me. That was the big one that surprised me. And I'll say there's a lot of things that we could nitpick, but it's a Disney Channel original movie and it's supposed to be pretty goofy. So I think we could spend a lot of time doing like a cinema sins. Ooh, what was up with that? That was weird, but that's just that would be annoying to listen to, I think, and would be really beside the point of what this is trying to do. So let's not do that. So the caveat will be there's a lot of things that I have questions about, but none of them actually bothered me and I don't hold them against the movie. So we're pure of heart is what I'm saying.
All right.
For instance, so Gabriella's like pointing at a beaker and she's like, see, it changes from pink to blue.
Bro, it has
And
a
it's,
name.
it's clear the whole time.
Yeah, Lyndsey noticed
Bro,
that too.
it has a name.
So we could do that, but that would be a silly way to do it. Zac Efron in this movie, I'm glad that men's fashions moved beyond where they were in 2006.
Agreed.
But I was in high school at the time. And that is how dudes dressed, unfortunately.
Also, here's a fun fact about Zac Efron in this movie before you continue.
Yeah.
They in the first movie, not in the second and the third, they blended his voice with someone else. So that's not just Zac Efron singing. They loved another guy in the audition so much, but they liked Zac Efron to play the part.
Okay.
So they took Zac Efron's singing voice and Drew Seeley's singing voice and blended them together. But
that
in this,
is a fun fact.
yeah, but in the second and third movie, it's just Zac Efron singing. So he can sing. He does have a great voice, but they just, for the first movie, for some reason, they really like Drew Seeley's voice.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think about the songs in this? What's like what's the general consensus on the songs in this?
are a banger.
Yeah,
Are there?
I like the soundtrack. But my thing is, and I mentioned this to Lyndsey earlier, we know that Ryan and Sharpay changed the music for the musical. And I said air quotes because, we never see the musical. So they change it for the audition song, what I've been looking for, to like this more upbeat kind of song. And then later on, in the callbacks, we hear Bop to the Top. I want to know what Bop to the Top was supposed to sound like. Because I imagine...
Was it supposed to be quite so racist, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
How these like extremely white people come out with all the Arribas and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Since we're on Bop to the Top, that was one of the funny subtitle things. So Ryan comes out and he's like, oh, mucho gusto. But in the subtitles, it just says speaking Spanish.
Woof.
And then I don't remember exactly Ashley Tisdale's words there.
Fabulosa.
Thank you. But that also
Yeah,
says
it's
speaking
tough.
Spanish.
Tough.
Yeah. Speaking Spanish.
It's a tough egg.
So the musical is called Twinkle Town.
Oh, that's why it's Twinkle
People
Town.
have gone together.
Yeah, she says Twinkle Town a lot in this, that old
the
lady.
musical is called Twinkle Town. The musical itself is about like two people reminiscing, I guess, about like an old... So Twinkle Town is a nickname for Hollywood. So it's about like some type of production or like they're reminiscing it. That's kind of what people have put together.
I feel like Tinseltown's a nickname for Hollywood.
I definitely said Twinkle. I can pull up.
No, I'm sure you're right, but that kept hitting my mind weird. No, I know. I'm saying I'm sure that I don't think you're wrong.
See, this
I
is the
think
thing we
they
were talking
are.
about earlier where I'm like, I need to always be right.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments.
Yeah, no, I'm not
This is
saying
why I
you're
didn't
wrong.
watch
I'm
the
saying
last season of
it's
Pretty Little
weird.
Liars. It is weird. They go through and like, granted, like this is a BuzzFeed ad thing, whatever. I don't know. BuzzFeed shaping the world as we know it. But like they do go through and they like zoom in on all the characters' names and then they relate it to like some Fred and Ginger Rogers or something like that who have starred in severy big budget, massive Hollywood famous movies together.
Fred
so
and
like the
Ginger.
idea is that they're like corny and cheesy. And they renamed it with like household names.
Yeah, it's not entirely on a Fred Astaire level in this, but I do like what Zac Efron's doing in this movie. But
Hey.
a fun way to get into this. So where were you guys in 2006? I was sophomore year of
Clearly.
high school.
I was in
Freshman and then sophomore year.
when this
meant,
movie came out.
year-wise. I was like, I was sitting here watching High School Musical as it premiered on Disney Channel. Like, that's where I was in 2006. But I don't... Hold on. Let me do the math. You go.
So I think this movie came out in the spring before my freshman year. So I think I was in 8th grade when this movie came out.
Okay. If it's a spring movie, then I was the latter half of my freshman year.
Mm-hmm. I believe that's when it was. Because I think I saw this movie before I went to high school. And high school is not like the movie. No one knows all the musical numbers.
Yeah, I didn't see it at the time, but it wasn't quite like this for me either.
Was I in 4th grade?
Fourth
was that
grade,
math?
I think, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was in 4th grade.
I was in high school.
My life
feels weird
because I did watch this when it did come out.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like Sharpay Evans. Like everybody wanted to be Gabriella. Everybody wanted to be Gabby. And everybody wanted the T necklace and the whole 9 yards because that's in High School Musical too.
T for Troy.
Wanted nothing more than to wear sparkles and be the nice version of Sharpay Evans. And I wanted nothing more than my brother at the time to be Ryan. And that's probably why my brother now is trans. But
yeah,
big statement.
You know, I constantly was like, hey, you should put this on and sing a dance with me. I probably had a huge influence in that transition.
I'm not surprised that you related more to Sharpay.
I just feel like that was the character I should be.
Yeah. So,
speaking of,
so I was in high school, but this was like past my time watching Disney Channel original movies because it isn't targeted at people in high school. I don't think.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah. 4th graders probably.
Yeah, it definitely was targeted towards my generation because I thought that's what high school would be. And I will tell you, when I walked into my high school and nobody was singing and dancing or throwing basketballs, I was like, shh. So Kyle wants to jump back. So you said at the beginning about Ryan, the character Ryan Evans.
Yeah.
So you said at the beginning, and you labeled it right away as a gay character.
Yeah, he's playing the gay best friend archetype.
This character at the time of filming was not intended to be gay, but just very flamboyant, very girly, have that type of, extra attitude.
Yeah. In the later movies too, so in 2 and 3, there's almost sexual tension between Ryan and Kelsey, the composer. So like they're kind of like flirtatious and
Kenny Ortega did not specify those roles were gay until very much later.
I don't know if Kelsey's role has ever been established as
Kelsey's have not. I know Ryan has because it was said in an interview. And
Lucas Grabeel, the actor,
came back and said, knowing this now, I would have never played this role because I'm inaccurately portraying that character. And I'm taking that opportunity away from somebody who could well represent the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And yeah, I mean, that's like not even really like trying to like conspiracy theory it, that the archetype that he's playing is the gay best friend character. Yeah, he just is. So
yeah. I think it's just a thought, like it makes you think back to like 2006, like how that at the time would be such a hush. Like we wouldn't be like, oh, that's gay. Like we've been like, that's Ryan. He's just doing his thing. Like, and now today we're like, that's gay or that's, and we have like, I don't know. It's just interesting to me, like how we grow and put labels on things. So it kind of makes me flash back to think of like what was said during production at that time to get him to do certain things and, to get him to act certain ways and to get him to wear certain things, like what was said in those conversations, because obviously Lucas did not think that the character was gay at the time.
And it's funny to me because this comes out a couple years after Mean Girls, and that he's basically playing the same character as the explicitly gay best friend character in Mean Girls. So that's obviously like
it's just like food for thought.
Yeah, it is funny this coming out after Mean Girls, and it seems like they're trying to kind of do like a Regina George thing with Sharpay. But my question to you guys is she popular?
Sharpay?
Yeah.
Is anybody ever popular? You just think you're popular.
Because she's kind of like trying to sort of like project that control over the school, but it doesn't seem like anyone else cares.
Yeah,
unlike like comparing it again, this comes out a couple years after Mean Girls. So it
does seem that Sharpay has some control over the student body, especially during Stick to the Status Quo, and she tells everybody to shut up, and they do, and they like all look at her. Yeah, and they all look up at her. I mean, I guess if someone yelled in the cafeteria, "Be quiet," everyone would be quiet.
Right
Yeah.
when you're
It's
like
fire.
learning to not stick to the status quo, though, would you be quiet? That's the question.
I think so. I think if someone yelled, like if I went into the student cafeteria at the high school I work at and screamed, "Be quiet," I think everyone would be quiet.
See, but I think that's different though because you're authority. If you had one of your students scream it, I don't think you would have. I think from my high school experience and my teacher experience, I would not have the same effect. People would just be like, "Whatever, dude,"
I don't think people would realize at first that it was a student. I think if somebody just got up and yelled, "Be quiet," everyone would, at least for a second, be quiet and look and see what was going on.
What was weird about that song to me is that while most of it's happening, she's upset. The villain is upset. But then also the heroes are upset while it's happening because it's like about them.
Right.
So who's it for?
Ryan.
It's for Zeke making his creme
it's for
brulee.
Zeke.
It's for...
But I don't understand
It's for
why the
pop, lock, and drop it.
Yeah.
What's
But
her name?
I'm-
Kelsey.
No, to Kelsey.
That's her real name. I don't know her fake name.
I don't know. And it's just going to bother me that I don't know it because she's such a main character in 2 and 3.
Oh really?
Yeah. So Zeke and the character's name is slipping my mind because she doesn't have a big role in this movie.
No.
It's slipping my mind. But the skater guy does not come back. He is no
I
longer
wouldn't assume that
But the other two are in the next 2 movies. And even in the third, I think she has a big role in the third
she
movie.
has a huge role in the third one, yeah.
as the more famous.
The second
people
movie, she has a big
matriculate.
role too because she's
Well, no, they're all there.
in the
They're all there
kitchen
for the...
cooking.
Oh, jeez.
Mhm.
Well, it's that Disney money.
Yeah,
Back
it's
on
the
the
Disney
Brinks
money.
truck. They probably signed terrible contracts as children, so
Martha. Martha. Is her
Martha,
name.
there you go. Yeah, I
She might not have even had a name for the first movie. We'll have to look at the credits later.
I don't remember if anyone says her name if she does it.
I don't think so.
She's just like, I want to dance, and they're all like, sit down.
Is that even legal? One of the best
is
lines.
that a song?
Yeah, one of the best lines in the whole movie.
Yeah, and like I said, I put that caveat at the beginning that I don't actually care about any of the nitpicks. It's just because it's goofy and it's for kids, so whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
So because
Enough
I
to be
feel
upset
like
about.
you two are a little older than I am, you're at a different place in your life when this was released. You probably looked at this and was like, whatever, this is... But like, in my generation, in my world, this was like chaos. Like, they had concerts, they had movies that got replayed in movie theaters on like Saturday mornings, and you would go with your friends. They had like musicals of High School Musical with like makeshift cast, like people who looked like them and sounded like them.
Like live concerts.
That would like almost like how Six is touring. Like
Yeah.
it would be High School Musical that's touring, and you would go see it. Like it was absolute madness. You had the costume, you had the t-shirts, I had a toothbrush, like a freaking toothbrush, Tooth Tunes that sang "We're all in this together" while I brushed my teeth every morning and night for 2 minutes.
Yeah, this is
They had
probably
literally sessions on Disney Channel on Friday nights for I think 6 or 7 weeks where they would pick a song from this and the cast would teach you how to do the dance in it. Like that's how big this got.
Yeah, the dance.
I remember how big this was, and I feel like this is the moment that I really like, put away my childish things and was just like, oh yeah, this isn't for me. This is one of the first things that I am for sure too old for. And probably not one of the first ones. I was already in high school at this point, but it was definitely something that I recognized that is huge. And there's a whole different generation that has their own pop culture that this is huge for, and I am not part of that. And this is probably one of the first ones that, first things that is as big as it is and feels for like it's for people younger than
Like
me.
this first movie got so big that Disney Channel literally put out a poll. And I think it was like on like a Wednesday night, and you could vote for like which celebrity you wanted to make a cameo appearance in High School Musical 2. Like
that
that,
was
like
rigged, though.
No, because I voted for Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus was in it.
Yeah,
So
but
I
the
mean, same
options-
thing.
Yeah.
But
The options were Miley Cyrus's dad, or Jason Earls.
no, it wasn't.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't. Brenda Song was in there.
I'm gonna look it up.
It was Brenda Song,
So, but yeah, they just
Miley Cyrus, and Hannah Montana. Then it was her dad for sure.
Her dad for sure.
Billy
and
Ray
then it was
Cyrus,
somebody else,
Sarah
but it
Mulholland
wasn't.
Drive.
I thought it was a given who was gonna win when I saw the poll. I remember that.
If that's the poll, that sounds like that was
Well,
it's like a House Hunters
I
thing.
picked
They
the
already
right
had the
answer.
person picked. So,
Look up the poll. I'm curious now.
let's talk about this movie.
Sorry,
So,
but it just got huge. That's all.
yeah. So I wrote down Zac Efron has that like corduroy blazer on at the beginning, and that hairstyle I'm glad is gone, but everyone had it. Everyone had that
Everyone had it.
hairstyle.
If you saw a boy in middle school with that hairstyle, I was like, that is my Troy Bolton.
Everyone
It's
had
coming
that
back.
hairstyle.
It's coming back.
Oh God. Oh no.
It's like a swish bowl cut.
If they start like, well, people are layering again now, right? Too Ugh, awful.
You know what I also think is confusing in this
I don't
movie
miss the
is
layers.
their schedule, like their bell schedule. Like they go to advisory or homeroom, which is in Darvis's class. Then they have free period till lunch. Like what?
It seems
what the
like
heck
there's-
are you doing? I have not seen one of them in class. Are you learning anything?
Considering that it's not like they're seniors at the end of their final year or anything, there's a lot of freedom for how they can move about
they're
the school
sophomores.
and when. Yeah,
They
exactly.
are all sophomores.
Right, yeah.
Because they are all in High School Musical 3 graduating.
Yes. Yep. I didn't know that. That's the Glee thing where they just kept like they never said what year they were because they didn't know how many seasons they were going to do.
Right.
And then eventually they had to graduate the famous people. But yeah, so yeah, you're totally right though. They just kind of go wherever.
Yeah.
Everyone has lunch at the same time. That must be disruptive. Yeah, I don't know.
There was a couple like video. I don't think they were errors, but like I know you mentioned one earlier, and that was something I wanted to mention too with the chemistry experiment. And it's like, oh, it goes from pink to green or pink to blue, and the whole thing's white, and so it doesn't change any color. I'm pretty sure that Disney Channel had talked about that scene as a joke, like in one of like the, you know, like when they are like, oh, Happy New Year, let's talk about our reminiscing memories.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they were supposed to do that in post, and that was just like baking soda and lemon juice or something.
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah. And they like completely
It
forgot
just
to do
looks
it.
like water.
The other thing I thought was interesting was in Stick to the Status Quo, Chad, I think. Troy or Chad, I don't remember,
Yeah.
throws up a ball and it's right above his head, and then he like slides down to the ground like a little bit, and he has like one hand on the seat for the lunch table and one hand, the other feet are on the ground, and he's like slid down a little bit. The ball never comes back down. It just goes up and disappears.
I like that.
It never comes back down.
Yeah, I like that. So I felt like, I guess I should say, though I hadn't seen any of these High School Musical movies before, I have seen Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens specifically in a lot of other stuff. And I usually like them in other stuff. And so it's good to see that they had some chops back here. I think Zac Efron especially is sort of on a different level with the sort of sophistication of the physicality of his performance. I think you really can't teach like physical comedy. And he does a lot of just like
Yeah.
faces and stuff that are, you know, I'm not saying he's Jim Carrey here, but he's doing for a child actor or whatever. I don't know. Was he 18 at the time? Maybe he's technically an adult, but okay.
I don't know.
Well, for a young actor, he has a lot of the comedic timing of someone who is, you know, a lot more experienced, and a lot of them don't in this movie, but that's okay. It's a kid's movie. I'm just saying, for a kid's movie, his performance is a little bit above everyone else's, I feel like.
Put the team on his back.
He did, yeah. That's there's a lot on him, especially in the first half of the movie before they really let Vanessa Hudgens do anything.
Yeah. Just to wrap up an old plot point that we talked about.
Yeah.
It was the voting was Miley Cyrus, her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, Jason Earls, and Emily Osment.
Oh, Emily Osment.
So at that point in 2006 or 7, when this movie was being created, Miley Cyrus was the obvious choice.
They didn't have Dolly Parton on that either. I could have sworn.
So those
Huh.
4.
I was way
Sorry.
off then.
But yeah, Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Before he gets all muscly and
Yeah. You guys have any
Before he
thoughts?
becomes Ted Bundy.
or before he becomes Ted Bundy.
T is for Ted Bundy. That's a
Yeah,
Second
there's a
reference.
you've
Oh,
probably
I
seen the meme of
T is for.
I've
Am I allowed to
seen
say
he's, like-
inappropriate things on here?
He was like dancing on a golf course or something.
yeah, that's in the
Okay,
second
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But at the beginning of the movie, he gives Gabriella a necklace with a T on it, and she goes, "T for Troy," and he's like, "Yeah." But now there's a bunch of memes like, "What else could the T have been for?" Like, obviously, he's giving her a T for Troy.
Yeah. So she gets dumber before the second movie, you're saying?
Yeah,
JK.
yeah, right before the summer. She just took all her finals. It's not her fault. She's in all those AP classes.
Wait, is the second one just the second half of the same year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I
Yeah,
think
it's like they finished
Do
the
they actually
musical.
do the musical?
No.
So you don't
What
you don't
the
ever see
hell?
the musical. You see like I think it's like 4 or 5 days afterwards or something like that. It's like the last day of school. That's
It's
where
the
it
last
starts.
day of school.
I have to
And it
say
goes into
that
the
is
summer.
that is a very funny bit to
Yeah.
not ever show the
It's-
musical.
but it might even be the last day in their junior year. Like you might skip a whole year because they don't. I don't think they really established what year they are in High School Musical 2 because it's all about the summer, and then High School Musical 3 is their senior year, and it jumps in the basketball playoffs.
And they
again.
do all grow up quite a bit. So like yeah, I could see that.
Okay, gotcha.
Favorite song from the movie, if
a
you
lo-
had to pick.
a lot of them didn't do a lot for me. The ones that I knew about before going in, just from like people talking about get your head on the game and we're all in this together, especially being just sort of ubiquitous, even for someone who wasn't watching Disney Channel or into this at all when it came out. I knew about those. Yeah. I guess I thought maybe get your head in the game. He's talking about like don't be afraid to shoot the outside J. It's like take your own advice, bro. Take a jump shot.
Yep.
Don't just roll from the post. And yeah, and it's funny when they're like, and they're trying. He's kind of like almost singing sometimes, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, basketball." Yeah,
As they're all singing
I'd
and
have to
dancing
go
with him.
But Chad don't dance.
It starts with like the beats getting set by like the squeak of the shoes and the basketballs dribbling and stuff. And
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah, it's like that Nike commercial from back in the day. We all remember it. Yeah, it would probably be that one. A lot of them really didn't do that much for me. I felt like they were pretty forgettable. A lot of the songs, yeah.
Okay.
And again, like I'm not holding that against it. I don't know. I'm just in a good mood. But
She's going for the grape.
I didn't dislike them. I just don't feel like there was that much standout stuff.
Okay,
happening.
I think that's fair. I think it's a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the same stuff. It's like the Disney records way that they produce songs that I just don't feel like it sounds that good on vocals. I don't know.
I think it changes up as the movies go on.
Yeah.
There's different types of songs and
Yeah.
um,
What is your favorite songs?
do you want to?
Me or you? Me?
I'll go first if you
All right,
want.
you can go first.
Guys first.
Ladies first.
Breaking Free is my favorite in this one. Just that wraps up the musical that we never.
Yeah, I
see.
like that song's like literally about them too.
Yes, they're breaking free,
Good
just
job,
like
Minnie and Arnold.
kindergarten.
What's that one?
That's the one when
Did
they
you watch this
stole
movie?
the academic decathlon in the basketball game.
Okay,
and then they rush the
their
stage.
callback.
It's their callback.
Okay, gotcha.
I like bops at the top because everybody loves a good jazz square.
Yeah, sure. That is funny. I think that's a
I did
good
have
line.
that Sharpay costume when I was a kid, and I did put on performances with my dad's ladder from Home Depot.
Yeah, the ladder's interesting. They have like the gold tinsel on it. Yeah. And then the other one where they have like the moon and like the skyline for
Mm-hmm.
Troy and Gabriella's. Were you guys ever in like an actual high school musical?
I was in a middle school musical.
So you would, even just from that experience, you would know that you don't have unique props for the audition process.
No, definitely not.
So
just
I
walk
thought
up on
that was-
stage
I
and
thought that
sing.
was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, you walk up on stage and sing. You don't have costumes.
you
or
maybe you read a few
choreography.
lines, but
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you have some choreography, I should
Yeah.
say, but you don't have like coordinated costumes and.
I like him breaking free too. If you, I'm a big background human. I got a couple of background catches I got to share with y'all. But in the background of breaking free, you see Ryan in the wings with his arms crossed. And he's kind of bobbing his head, like he's jamming. He's like, "Yeah, this is a good song. They should get the lead." And I always like admire that part because it shows that like Ryan's not the villain. Ryan's just trying to like exist happily in a world.
and they really harp on that later on too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems mostly fine. He seems mostly oblivious to any of the more sinister machinations.
Can we rewind to the beginning? I got a couple questions about
Okay.
the opening credit scene, and I'm sorry this is a big like whoop, rewind. Was it a crazy hat party on New Year's Eve?
Oh yeah.
Like what? Like the fact that the movie starts off with "Howdy, cowboy" or "cowgirl," like
Yeah,
like what is happening? Like at first I was like, oh, they're all New
Yeah.
Year's Eve themed, and then I was like, then there's a big cowboy hat and
There's
a random
a
I see.
Viking hat.
Viking.
there's-
Yeah,
they're
there's this
like
a party hat.
skiing, and I'm assuming maybe like Colorado because the movie's in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
So that would be kind of
really set in Utah. That high school is actually in Utah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a real high school, by the way.
So yeah, maybe they were skiing in Utah or Colorado or something, and that's where cowboys are, I guess. Yeah, I thought it seemed like what's happening in that opening party that like a big spotlight falls on Gabriella, who's just, in everyone else's defense, she's at the party. You shouldn't be like just sitting at a party reading a book if you don't want to be involved.
So I think the idea was to make it seem like that spotlight was picking two people who weren't actively like in conversations or like socializing, and like force them to socialize with each other, because that's why the guy comes over like, oh, you'll thank me for this later, because like then they would have a friend.
So
I think that was the concept. So like the
DJ at the resort.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like a kids zone type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, they do.
If you notice though, I don't understand this, and this is what confuses me about this, is because a bunch of guys get around him. They're like, come on, buddy. Come on, friend. Get him up there. Yeah. And I'm like, it seems like he has these friends here, but like he wasn't talking to any of them. But then the guy shoves him up on stage. And if you look in the background while they're singing, he is like shook unbelief. Like he looks like he has known Troy since the womb. And he is like mouth on the floor that Troy can sing. So like that, I'm like, wait. Are you a friend? Are you not? Like, I don't know.
That is odd to me. There did seem to be a lot more familiarity there for characters who do not come back ever again. Yeah. Yeah, but you just can't make people do karaoke cold.
Yeah.
Is the idea like in universe that's a popular song that people would just know?
Maybe.
I think in that world, that'd be like the tequila song, but like for kids.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess so.
Because clearly it's the same, like, you know.
Maybe it's the only song they have on karaoke. So they're like, you've heard this like 10 times tonight at least.
Mm.
The people in front of you just did this song.
Yeah, maybe it's the one song that they're doing. So everyone was told to learn it before they got to the resort. Okay.
It's a lot of trust on the parents, though.
True.
Because they just dropped their kids off at this party that has one adult supervision who is the DJ.
It's the kids zone. Young adults.
It must be. It's like where the parents are off drinking. So.
Yeah. Having a crazy banger on New Year's Eve.
Wild. I want to bounce back and I can't remember where.
Yeah. Hold on. That the kids have access to, apparently, because they're like, I got to go find my parents now and say Happy New Year, even though I'm at the kids' party.
Yeah, that was odd.
I had another
Everyone's
little
got flip
tidbit,
phones.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Now. Dang it.
So you were never in a musical?
Oh God, no.
No?
I was in a play. I was in 12 Angry Jurors, and
it's a gender neutral 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. And then it was a dead cow, but I don't remember the name of the play. But as a dead cow. That was probably the one my mom came to and was like most proud of.
Nice. I did a couple musicals in high school. It wasn't like this. We actually did the musical for one.
Yeah.
And yeah, the audition process was slightly different. Then they made me be Puerto Rican for West Side Story. Ooh. I'm like the whitest person.
Is a ginger.
Yeah, and I was actually worried about it. We've talked about this on the podcast before, so it's fine. I think all photos of that production were scrubbed from the internet by someone. I don't know who.
Well, good.
Because this would have been like 2008-ish. And if you recall, people our age still used Facebook then. And so there's at least like 60-ish people involved in this production. Everyone was posting photos on Facebook. And they're all gone. So I don't know if they all got flagged for like racist imagery.
I mean,
because not me, but other people did use like, bronzer and stuff to appear more Puerto Rican. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
No.
But I've actually asked around because when West Side Story came out, the Steven Spielberg movie last year, when we were talking about it for the Oscars, I wanted to see if I could track down some. Like there were DVDs produced of the production too, and just any photo on Facebook. So I asked around, and like no one has them. They're all gone.
So I have one request. Speaking of photos,
yeah.
I know you like to photo edit my face onto other people's faces.
Sure.
If you photo edit my face onto Sharpay Evans, I will buy you breakfast.
Oh, okay, sure.
But I don't want to be Gabriella.
Okay, that's fine.
Kyle can be Gabby.
All right, we'll lock it in.
No response.
No response. Sure. Yeah. So
it's gonna be a weird poster if you're on Sharpay, I'm on Gabriella.
Yeah, I don't know what poster you used to even get
Ben's
that done.
on Kelsey, and then we just leave. And then we just leave Troy and Ryan and Zeke.
Well, I feel like a life goal is to meet Lucas. Like that like to meet like when
The
he
star
was
of Halloween
yeah.
Town 2.
Did you all see that
No,
video
Halloween Town 3.
of
4, something like that.
Yeah. Did y'all see that video on I think I saw it on Facebook, but it was on Instagram and TikTok too. That he went to go visit his high school that was doing a High School Musical, and he went to go give them a pet talk, and like
Awesome.
he coordinated it with his drama director, and like none of the kids knew, so they're all in like their circle, like circle of trust, and they like get all ready and they like shake out all the nerves and talk.
Mhm.
He like walks in through the wings into the circle, and he's like, "What's up, guys?" And they're like losing their minds. It was so cool. I was like, "Oh, this is really cute."
And he did come back for the series, if you remember.
yeah.
He is in one of the episodes in the first season.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
The teacher is really selective with how and when she applies the rules of
Yeah.
this audition process.
And if she makes a decision, it can easily change almost immediately.
She'll put up like
Darbus
yeah,
is the worst.
token resistance and say like there's no possible way, and within 10 seconds she'll just be like, oh yeah, let's do that.
You know what? It's fine.
Another fun fact, speaking of Darbus, and I told Lyndsey this when we were watching it, they did scrap a song for her. She was
Mhm.
supposed to have a musical number
That's the right call.
with
This movie's
Troy's,
an hour and 40 minutes
Whoa,
long.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah,
With
with Coach Bolton.
Okay.
So as they're arguing about
he's like, "What are you
detention
two
with the
doing up in
principal,
tree?"
yeah, and what are those two doing in a tree? That's supposed to turn into a musical number.
That guy is just doing like every athletic coach that is like, just a couple years away from being sued for harassment.
I like that he's so on Troy about scholarships, but then you go to his mansion with a personal basketball court, and I'm like, bro, Troy don't need no scholarships.
And he's talking
Help
to him.
Zeke out. Zeke's
Yeah.
trying to bake and play basketball.
like-
Get
he's
him a
like-
baking
he's like
scholarship.
the full-time basketball coach. It doesn't seem like he's a gym teacher or anything, right?
I don't know. Because he's there all day. So
Right, he's there all day.
No, 'cause
like
they
in
go
the
to gym
office.
later, and Troy just runs. There's no teacher, remember? They're in
Yeah.
those matching like sweatsuits, and Troy like
Oh.
runs. It's like gym class.
I mean, I'm sure there's programs like that. Like if, Friday Night Lights, the coach is just the coach. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
and I guess that this is
This is supposedly like the biggest thing going on in New Mexico is this high school basketball team, I
Yeah.
guess. So
Yeah.
you've physically pushed the mic away from your face.
yeah, I was trying to fix it and it
Oh,
just
okay. I got you.
Yeah.
So, no, not your fault. These are like the cheapest ones on
Do you have a
Amazon.
game for us to play
Yeah,
this
so
time?
I did
Kind of.
one more
Okay.
thing.
I would say if not,
I-
I'll make one.
At the end, I don't know if this is the case, but at the end of the movie, as they're about to get into, we're all in this together, and Darbus comes up and she's like, "Oh, bravo!" like to Troy and his dad,
Brava.
and he's like, "Brava!" I'm like, I don't know if that's a nod to the song they were supposed to have, but I'm like, it's
Oh,
kind of weird that
probably.
he's like, "Brava!"
Probably.
So I don't know if there's any.
Give me your phone. I'm gonna Google and see if I can find.
I'll
them.
look it up. I don't know if there's any version of the song that ever got recorded or if it was scrapped before they tried it. But yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
Go look it up.
That would make a ton of sense because they don't do anything worth congratulating each other for in that moment.
No.
So, but yeah, and brava is what you say to a lady, so it makes sense. He's
Okay.
up on that at
All
least.
right, I didn't know
That
that.
could also just generally be like a theater. Like he's like, oh, I just learned this the second ago. I saw my son perform.
Yeah, but she hasn't done anything, and neither. And I mean, at least he coached a winning team, so that's why when she says it to him, it doesn't proc to me because he was the coach of the team that just won.
Right.
But she was just hanging out in the audience for the auditions.
Yeah, I feel like it was more of like a touche kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. Or just in the movie, it makes more sense if they had just sung a song. But in the movie, I figure it's because like, oh, you made the right choice. You picked
Yeah.
Troy and Gabriella. And that's what he was congratulating her for, is what sounded correct to me.
Right. Also, Gabriella's balcony is sweet. They go back to that balcony a bunch and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
that makes
it's a
sense.
sweet balcony.
All right.
It was a runtime issue. They took it
The
out
movie's-
because it was a runtime issue.
So
That's the only reason why.
Mhm.
That's
But
wild.
yeah, this movie's
What's
100
that
minutes long.
song?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's any known recordings of
So
it.
it's like hidden in the Walt Disney World files.
Yeah, I do have a video of like some middle school production of it that just
It's
says
probably-
Miss Darbus and Coach Bolton, but we'll watch that later.
Play it now. If it's bad, Ben will just cut it out.
That's more work.
I don't like that.
This is gonna be it. Oh, that's some pretty good acting. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like they're singing. So
Oh,
Halloween Town's only 84 minutes. Perfect length for a Disney Channel original
Perfect one
movie.
for a Disney Channel original.
So, like I said, I don't have a lot of game for the end here, but I am curious, since this is our first Disney Channel original movie, what are your favorite Disney Channel original movies? So I have like a pretty clear...
No, you don't.
Pretty clear top tier for me, but yeah, if you're ready to go, I didn't tell you about this.
Wait,
No,
should
I'm
we
not
guess
ready.
each other's?
I think that's fun.
It's weird because it depends when you clocked in and then clocked out of being someone who watches Disney Channel original movies, because there's like 100 of them, but I have only seen the 20 that came out when I was in that age range.
Yeah.
So it would be different for everyone, I guess. So some of your favorites I maybe have not heard of.
There was just so many.
Yeah, there's probably more than 20.
to
There's
label
about one
like,
a month or so.
I could
for
give you
while.
a list of a few of them and be like, these are interchangeable. But to pick just one is hard.
Yeah. Well, it's not that
but
hard. It's Brink.
Brink is so good. It's
Yeah.
on the list. It's on the list. I did tell one of my students last year, because he was looking for something to watch that on Disney Plus. He was like, "What's a good Disney Channel movie? Like, I'm looking for something to watch tonight." I said, "You have to watch Brink." And he was like, "Is Brink just one of those movies where like the dad is like angry at the son for something, and then
I mean, yeah,
he
they're
does
all
it
that.
anyway?"
But
And I went, "No, dude, you gotta watch it. You're gonna love it." And then he came back and he went, "That movie sucked." So I don't think today's generation would appreciate Brink as much.
well, he's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. He's wrong. But up there for me, what do you think it is? What do you think I'm about to
Yours
say?
is Phantom of the Megaplex.
Yeah, I'm about to say Phantom of the Megaplex.
Okay.
And then
That was
second
fun.
would be Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
That's also up there.
Okay.
And third would be probably a Goofy movie.
No. Halloween Town.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Halloween
yeah.
Town, yeah.
Halloween Town. So those three are up there for me. There's a few more, but those are the big three.
All right, what are mine? I feel like this says a lot about a
Yeah.
human.
And then there's a few more like kind of musical ones that I like, but not musical
Okay, enough
ones.
about you. My turn.
I think High School Musical is your favorite.
Nope. It is like top 3 though.
Okay. Teen Beach Movie.
That is second.
Okay.
Oh, third, because High School Musical is second. What's my top? Oof.
I don't think it's Halloween Town.
No. I don't really like Halloween Town.
I'm not sure. What is it? When you say it, I'm gonna know. But
An extremely goofy movie.
oh, I did know that. Yeah,
It's our wedding
I didn't know that.
song.
I don't know if that's a decom though. I don't know if that was a
I
Disney
I think,
Channel
yeah, I think that
original.
was,
That
I
a
think that was
decom?
theatrical.
Yeah, I don't think that was a
Then I
decom.
guess it would be High School Musical.
Okay,
I don't even
there
know
you go.
myself.
All right. All right, so then I was right. I got you.
I don't
Or-
know who I am.
I think
Yeah.
I think the first one's theatrical.
Yeah.
An extremely goofy movie is just straight to home video. maybe?
I do like all the movies with the guy who's in Smart House and The Luck of the Irish.
Yep.
Mm,
So-
if
okay.
he's in any of those,
So those are the top.
yeah,
I also like Twitches.
13th year I don't love, but
13th year's not great, but
and much as I like the girl from Halloween Town, I don't really like Quince that much either.
yeah,
I liked the ones that were like Twitches, Stuck in the Suburbs.
Stuck in the Suburbs, solid.
The one about the
Solid.
ice skater who like trains the she like helps the hockey team learn
Go
how to
figure?
go figure. That's what it was. I liked those ones.
Mhm.
Strong female leads were my thing.
Haven't returned to it, but maybe problematic now, but fun at the time. Motocrossed.
Oh, motocross is great.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're like a clear top tier for me. Brink, Smart House directed by LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow, Star Trek, Roots,
Reading
cameos on
Rainbow.
Community, and yeah, he hasn't directed a lot of movies, but that guy loves close-ups. If you haven't rewatched Smart House for a while, lots of a weird amount of close-ups.
Mhm.
I always love the moment in Smart House where these like teen boys get together and they're getting ready for the party and they just all do a choreographed dance. Because when the
Yeah.
boys get together, we do
They
some
gotta
get
do
you
a
ahead of the
choreographed
game.
dance.
Yeah, it's to 5, isn't it?
I don't fucking know. Slam Dunk the Funk.
Yeah, Slam Dunk the
Oh,
Funk by 5.
Shoot, you know what we're not talking about? That's an original Disney Channel movie that has somebody from High School Musical in it. Corbin Bleu.
Jump in.
Jump in. That
No, I've
movie
never seen
was
that.
fire.
So it's
Never
about
seen
a double Dutch team.
I tried a double Dutch once I saw that movie. It failed terribly.
Yeah.
I think it's Corbin Bleu and Kiki Palmer, right?
It is.
It's a
Double
cast
Dutch.
right there.
And then Kiki Palmer very quickly afterwards switched over to a Nickelodeon contract and her Nickelodeon show came out. I don't remember the name of it, but she worked in a fashion designing business.
You know, speaking of favorite Disney Channel originals, since we're on the topic still, I'm surprised Descendants isn't on your list.
See, I like Descendants,
Have you
but
seen
I
that,
wouldn't
Ben?
watch it more than once. I like
I'm aware of
Kyle's
the
saying
premise,
this though because we share a Spotify account, and the soundtrack is always on like the most recent 2 thing. But it's because that's what the kids like. So when I teach dance, like that's just what I put on.
I don't know. The Descendants 3 soundtrack is
It's
awesome.
fire.
It's so good.
But yeah. So the tops for me, Brink, Luck of the Irish, I guess is up there. But Smart House, I'd probably put above it for that guy Ryan Merriman or something like that.
Merriman, yep.
Halloween Town. The sequel's also pretty good.
Yeah.
I
The second
haven't
one.
seen Halloween Town High.
Oh, fun fact about Halloween Town 2. We just saw this on TikTok. What's the actress who plays Marnie?
Not sure.
Shoot.
Well, she is engaged to Cal.
Oh,
From-
I did see that.
No. Yeah, Cal. Cal's the son. Yeah.
Sure.
But like they didn't get together till years and years later.
Is Hocus Pocus Disney? I can't remember.
Not an original movie.
Not an original,
It's
right?
a Disney
Okay.
Plus
Not
original.
a channel original
Hocus
movie, I
Pocus
should
2
say.
is going to be a Disney Plus original
Disney,
movie.
yeah, that will be
Yeah.
original, but I
Can't
don't know
wait.
if the original.
Fun
the
fact, one of
one.
Lyndsey's friends is in that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say who she plays now?
I think so because it's out.
Yeah, it's out. So, well, it's not out yet, but
Yeah.
it'll be out soon. The movie's not out. September 30th.
And then also
It's the
Xenon.
fourth.
Throwing together.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, go for
Let's
it.
spoil it. So-
If Disney sues me, I mean that's
Yeah.
a pretty great accomplishment.
Don't come after us, Mouse. Yeah, Lyndsey's friend Kim plays a character called Sexy Sarah in a Halloween costume contest. So look out for Kim.
Good for her.
And her RBF. She got casted solely based on her RBF, which I think is fantastic.
Cool. And then I guess the other big one from that era of like the first couple years of Disney Channel original movies would have to be Xenon,
Oh, you know what?
Girl of the 21st Century.
Mm-hmm. Cheetah Girls was up there for you too. That was around that
I
time.
love Cheetah Girls.
Cheetah Girls was probably right when I
'Cause
got
we
out
are
of this.
sisters.
'Cause I was
I'm not gonna lie. I am 25 years old, turning 26 soon, and engaged, and I have Cheetah Girls pajamas.
Congrats.
Yeah, no, Xenon's a good one. Xenon's up there.
Yeah, so those would probably be the ones up there for me, I guess. Even Steven's movie, technically, Disney Channel original.
Yeah. Good,
Not-
actually, a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of
remember
Even
like-
Stevens.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, y'all! No, I messed up my number one. It's the
From
Lizzie
them.
McGuire movie.
Oh no, that was theatrical.
That was theatrical.
That's theatrical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're messing it all
I
up.
just like Disney. Okay.
This is bullshit.
Kicked off. This is why I'm never on the podcast.
You're ruining everything.
Ben always has to cut me out.
Never mind. Ben, even though we've been here for an hour, this one's not airing.
You know what? Screw it. Yeah. So, any final thoughts on Disney Channel or
It was
High School
Ike
Musical?
Fabulosa.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Disney and the Disney Channel. You know, we've been a lot very recently to Disneyland in Florida, so
Quite often.
quite often. Yeah.
Right in the teeth of the pandemic.
Yeah. No. We
I
didn't.
thought that was a great time to go.
We-
I don't know
we
why
never
y'all
went-
were complaining.
We never went like super hard in the pandemic. Will and Sarah did.
That's
Will
true.
and Sarah did.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
When the
Yeah.
world like first shut down, Will and Sarah
They-
went.
and they said it was great. It was empty.
So, this is our first episode of Back to School Month. You guys are teachers. I'm sorry to say that so many times, but starting with High School Musical. Now, next episode will be Heathers, and then I'm not sure what order the last two will come in, but Breakfast Club and Mean Girls also on tap for this month.
I was doing the Breakfast Club fist.
Never
Now
watched
Oh,
it.
okay, I got
was
you.
raising my hands.
Wow, I feel like this.
Right,
that,
you are. You
that
weren't in
lineup-
freeze frame, so it was for
My
me to
bad.
notice. Sorry.
That lineup. I haven't seen any of those movies. I gotta get on my back to school
You've
trend.
seen Mean Girls?
Not Mean Girls.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the loophole.
my bad.
I
Sorry.
haven't seen that.
Yeah, so it'll be a good month. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And so thanks, guys.
We gotta,
Kyle
hold
and-
on, we got to rate High School Musical.
Yeah, I always forget to do that part. On a scale of 1 to 5, on any scale of your choosing, and you can go by increments of half, what would you give High School Musical?
I want to see where you two rate this first before I rate it.
Okay.
I gotta think of a rating scale.
I think I'm gonna rate it on a DCOM scale, like so only in comparison to all the other DCOMs.
You're grading it on a curve.
Yeah, like not in every movie ever,
Mm.
but compared to
Yeah.
the rest of the DComs that are out there, where do I see this movie?
I like to, for this podcast, rate movies on a what they're trying to accomplish scale.
Mhm.
So for me, this is probably like a solid 3.5 basketballs that you can never put down out of 5.
Mhm.
Poor Corbin Bleu just has that basketball.
Yeah, he
everywhere
just carries
goes.
the basketball everywhere.
I'm gonna rate this a perfect 5 out of 5. Saw cellos.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give this 4.5 out of 5 creme brulees.
Nice. It's like a custard with a
Yeah, it is
caramelized
pretty
sugar
delicious,
on top.
yeah.
And it's- yeah.
Oh, sick, man. Smacks out of hand.
Shut up and dribble.
Stick to the
Yeah.
status quo.
Stick to what you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So thanks for being here, Kyle and Lyndsey.
Toodles.
Trying to-
Toodles.
Trying to think of a thematic way to get out of this episode.
Toodles. That's what Sharpay says.
Yeah, it must be Toodles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toodles.
Yeah. I did like the moment, I guess it's post credits. Her delivery on like, this is the best cookie ever.
Will you make some more for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the kind of mania in her eyes. I think
Yeah, and
that's
Zeke's
what
almost
they
like
do.
afraid. You know that love story never pans out.
Oh, that's
Spoiler
right.
alert.
Oh,
Spoiler
that's too
alert.
bad.
The love
Yeah.
story doesn't pan out. That's I think at the end of 2 maybe they're holding hands, but there's no interaction the whole movie.
No.
And then 3
Brutal.
there's no interaction either.
Brutal. Pour one
Yeah.
out for
There's even
everybody.
prom in the 3rd one, and that'd be the perfect time. Send them both to prom together.
No, can't do it.
No.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks again. You can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Podbeans. Name of the show is Late to the Movies, in case you forgot. If for some reason you made it this far but need to Google the show, that's what it's called. You can also find us on Instagram at late2themovies_podcast. That's the number 2. Same with the email, late2themovies@gmail.com. What else? Yeah. You can go to our TeePublic page. We have a storefront there. You can buy a t-shirt. You can buy a mug. You can buy a poster. I'm sure they sell posters. I don't actually know. I know they sell stickers and buttons. They might not sell
It's
posters.
just a picture of Ben.
Yeah, it should be. That
Yeah.
would be smart. Everyone
Yeah.
would buy that, I think.
They would. Yeah, I'd hang one up in here.
Oh, good. Yeah, you got to redecorate the new place.
Yeah.
That should have been the housewarming gift. It's just a picture of me.
Picture of Ben.
And yeah, whatever else is there, on letterboxd.com, you can see those ratings we just gave. It's Late to the Movies. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
That's it.
All right, toodles.
Toodles. Ben, this is the best podcast I've ever been on. Will you have me on more, Ben?
Then you have to like look like you're going to tackle me, but then not quite.
And then you got to hit me with a witty one-liner.
Something about creme brulee?
Maybe
Maybe
even
I'll make you creme brulee.
Wink.